Still having trouble with the dreaded tip dry, huh? So I've recently come across a couple of ways to combat tip dry, or at least reduce the effects. Aside from the obvious over-reducing the paint, lowering the air pressure, changing your brand of paint, I just thought I'd run you through 2 new innovative ways that I've recently been made aware of, which can surely help reduce your tip dry. The first is brought to you by a man who resides in the land down under. Goes by the name of T-Bone. Legend, Tony, how are you? A couple of months ago, my friend Tony here sent me a quick video message letting me know of a cool new way that he's found that works really well to combat tip dry. Tony's technique that he describes is to use 2 fine bristled, worn toothbrushes. Now he says to wear the toothbrushes, you need to rub them against some sandpaper, and then he's actually melted the side of one toothbrush and wrapped some tape around it so that the 2 heads are touching each other. It acts like a fine little brush. He then uses Isocol, or rubbing alcohol, which is like a hand antiseptic. He puts that in between the 2 toothbrushes, wets it, and then flicks it to get rid of any excess alcohol. Just so they're moist, not wet, moist. What a lovely word. Just give it a little flick and make it moist. T-Bone goes on to mention that one of the biggest benefits in combating tip dry this way is that he finds he can now use the preset handle. Pretty good benefit. This can be a huge benefit if you require more airbrush control. So how often do you need to do it? Well, thankfully Tony has answered that for us as well. He says, logically, if I was oil painting, I'd have to palette my brush, and it's no different in this sense. Every time he feels he should be paleting his brush, he'll grab the moist toothbrushes and give it a little wipe on the front of the tip. So much sexual innuendo in this video. Anytime he notices a discrepancy in the spray, he's going to run the toothbrushes over the tip of the airbrush. Simple. Tony has also offered his help and said that anyone who wants to try this method, or anyone who does and has problems with it, can contact him via his email address. So there'll be a link to the thread to the Orange Airbrush Forum, where I'll post this video, and I'll also put Tony's address in there. I don't want to just put it out in the world. Honestly, one of the benefits of me doing videos like this is that I get to meet people like Tony, who just want to help other people out, gives his time away, and just spreads the love everywhere. What a great bloke. Thank you, Tony. The second useful countermeasure to tip dry is brought to you by no other than airbrushdoc.com. Now, AirBrushDoc has gone ahead as well, made a video about polishing your needle. And he's actually made a rather in-depth blog post about it as well, so I'll put a link to that in the description on YouTube too. It's straightforward. The method that he uses is to take the needle out of the airbrush, and he actually places it into a cordless drill. Then, using fine grade wet sandpaper, he then runs the airbrush needle over the fine sandpaper in a series of around 6 steps, moving from a coarse grade fine sandpaper, like 800 grit, to a very fine grade sandpaper, like 2000 grit, and even higher if you want a better polish. However, AirBrushDoc doesn't recommend this trick for absolute beginners because it's so easy to bend your needle or destroy it. And I have to add that any time that you're grinding away any steel from that needle, you're going to weaken its strength. Be very careful not to damage it. He also encourages people to do it in a safe way with safety goggles on. I just want to say, if you're going to try this polishing technique, please make sure that you read his blog post first, okay? Because he's not just saying this is easy, this is straightforward. He's giving you some helpful advice with some precautions to take, okay? Using either one of these tricks or a combination of the 2 is a great way to counteract the effects of tip dry. As long as we're using metallic needles, tip dry is always going to be a concern. But there are a few things you can do to reduce the impacts. So I hope these couple of quick little tips help. Give it a go and let us know how it works out for you as well. I'm looking forward to the first comment that says, "Damn you, I bent my needle!" Ouch. Thanks for watching as always, and remember to always spread the love, as we always do.